Okay, so can we start now? So any issues in last lecture in what I think we had discussed menstrual cycle. So any problems in that, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, so now we'll discuss about
सर आपका माइक ऑफ है.
okay. Now I'm audible, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll start. We'll cover with the human ovum. Okay, so as you can see over here, human ovum has been shown. Now the human ovum is as such elacetal. That means it is devoid of any yolk. Okay, which is normally there in normal eggs of the birds and all. Birds, reptiles, amphibians, they have a yolk. There is no yolk in the human case because there is umbilical cord, there is placenta through which there is direct contact between mother's womb and the developing embryo. Then there is abundant cytoplasm. The human ovum has abundant cytoplasm, and obviously it will have nucleus. So remember, this is devoid of yolk, so we call it as a elacetal. And the other characteristics are this: that is abundant in cytoplasm, and it has nucleus. Remember that once the secondary oocyte is fertilized by sperms, then the ovum will be formed. And it shows that meiotic division 2 had been completed because it only happens if there is fertilization. So now the female egg cell is referred as ovum, which is haploid. Okay, which is haploid. So you can see this is the ovum. Okay. So if I talk about the structure of the ovum, then there will be this sort of outer layer, okay, which is non-living layer. Okay, which is non-living layer. That is referred as zona pellucida. Okay, then inside that there is cell membrane. Okay, and over here there is nucleus. Over here there is nucleus. So this is what we refer as cell membrane. And on the outside of zona pellucida, there will be corona radiata cells. On the outside of zona pellucida, there will be corona radiata cells like this. This green color which you see. There is uneven distribution. So as you can see over here, just a moment, let me again copy it. So this is the structure which I had shown you over here. Okay. So if you talk about this is what we call as the zona pellucida. And then inside there is cell membrane. Okay, so you can see over here there is also this cell membrane. Now see, the zona pellucida is usually a non-living layer. Okay, so if you see over here the zona pellucida, this one, it is referred as a non-cellular layer. It is also referred as a acellular or non-cellular layer made up of, it is made up of glycoprotein. It is made up of glycoprotein. These cells which you see over here in the corona radiata, these are follicular cells. So this is corona radiata layer. It forms like a crown, so referred as corona radiata. So these cells are mainly follicular cells. These cells are what we call as, दोनों आपको कंपेयर करके दिखा रहा हूँ ताकि आपको पता चले. Okay, and if you see they are attached to one another. If you see as such, just a moment. So these cells, if you see over here, these are follicular cells. Okay, this layer is what we call as corona radiata. Okay, this is what we call as the glycoprotein non-cellular layer, zona pellucida. It got deleted, so I'm writing again. And these cells as such. These are as such, all of these cells, these are corona radiata cells. They are bound by hyaluronic acid. They are bound by hyaluronic acid. These follicular cells are glued together. Okay, they are glued together by hyaluronic acid. There is a space which you see over here. This space which you see, this space. So over here also you see this space. Okay, that is referred as perivitelline space. Okay, so that space is referred as perivitelline space. So it is the gap between cell membrane and zona pellucida. It is the gap between cell membrane and zona pellucida. So any problems in this structure, guys, about zona pellucida is very important. They frequently ask questions. Okay, any problem in this human ovum structure?
No, sir.
It's important, so kindly be careful about this and this structure. And as you can see, these forms are will enter. Okay, this and trying to enter. So this, from this diagram, this form has the highest possibility to fertilize it. Okay. So we will first discuss about fertilization. Okay. Now what will happen that basically fertilization is what we call as diffusion of male and female gamete. Diffusion of male and female gamete is what we refer as the fertilization. Okay. Your textbook mentioned it happens in ampulla region of your ampulla junction. The location is ampulla of what we call as fallopian tube. This is nothing but this female gamete and the male gamete will fuse, and then they will form diploid zygote. Okay. So for fertilization to occur naturally, there must be the first step will be there must be insemination. Insemination, it will be through population where approximately 3.5 ml of semen is released by penis in vagina. Okay, is released by penis in vagina by population by ejaculation. Okay, through the act of ejaculation. Now the motile sperm will now in this semen. Okay, the semen will contain sperms as we know. This contains motile sperms. So can you tell me what percentage was motile sperms? Anyone? How much sperms will be highly motile of the total sperms? Remember male reproductive system. We talked about that. किसी को याद है क्या कितने sperms से उसका high motility होता है? And we all are result of those highly motile sperms. Whatever human beings which you see on earth are result of those highly motile sperms. 40%. Okay. So these sperms will, the path of these sperms will be with the path. Sperms will be, this is also MCQ. It will pass through cervix. Okay. Then it will go to the uterus. Okay. From uterus, it will go to the, finally it will reach to the ampullary region. Okay. Of fallopian tube. And as you know over here, in the ampulla, as discussed, fertilization occurs. As discussed, fertilization occurs. So let me just show you. Okay, let me just put a diagram and just show it to you. Just a moment. Okay, so as you can see, the fertilization, the pathway will be through this region. Through this region, it will reach to ampulla. So over here, somewhere the fertilization will occur. Okay, as you can see in the diagram. So any problem in this pathway of this sperms can, remember this will be only highly motile sperms. So any doubts in this, guys?
No, sir.
Remember the pathway, it is here which happens the fertilization. This is the pathway. Now see, now next is very important for NEET questions. Okay, that basically the sperm viability. Okay, that is the sperms can remain alive. Okay, in female reproductive tract for 1 to 3 days. 24 to 72 hours. Okay, and fertilization occurs occurs within 12 to 24 hours of release. Within 12 to 24 hours of release. Okay. Of sperms. If it is supposed to happen, it will happen only within 12 to 24 hours. Otherwise, it will not happen. Okay. Remember that. The viability is for this much time. And the ovum arrival. Okay. It is usually 24 hours after ovulation. Okay, so the arrival of ovum for fertilization in female reproductive tract will be usually 24 hours after ovulation. So all this must coincide. All this must coincide, huh, guys. Then only there will be fertilization. Then only the end result will be fertilization. These events must coincide. Okay, the ejaculation, the copulation egg, then the ovum release. Okay, then the and the time during which the ovum will reach to the ampulla, then the sperm viability. All this will coincide. Then only there will be fertilization. Got it? Then only there will be fertilization. So any problems in this? Excuse me. Any problems in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So now we are moving on to the next part. That is, next is now what we call as capacitation of sperm. It is also very important for NEET question, not properly given in textbook, but it has been frequently asked. Okay. So it is basically, it is defined as the phenomenon of the process. Okay. It means to increase. Capacitation means to increase the fertilizing capacity of sperms. Increase the fertilizing capacity of sperms. Okay. This occurs in female reproductive tract. Okay. And it is required for, it is mandatory, or it is compulsory. Capacitation is compulsory for sperms to fertilize the oocytes. Otherwise, they won't be able to do this fertilization. Okay. So, what are the events which will occur during capacitation? So, what are the events which will occur? It's very important for data. Keep that in mind. Frequently asked question. So, the events which will occur in capacitation are removal of inhibitory factors. Are removal of inhibitory factors. Cholesterol vesicles are removed, and calcium ions entry in sperm. See, there will be some of the proteins and some of the inhibitory factors in the sperm which will not allow it to fertilize. So that must be removed. So that must be removed. Then there is also cholesterol amount in that must be removed. And calcium ions will enter in the sperms. Okay, from the surrounding region. And this is what happens in the female reproductive tract. All of these events happens in female reproductive tract. And without these events, there will be no fertilization. So all these questions can be asked about the definition of capacitation and what happens in capacitation. Okay, so it is the process to increase the fertilizing capacity of sperms, or it is the process which is rendered so that sperms can fertilize the oocyte. The location is in the female reproductive tract, and the events are removal of inhibitory factors of sperms, cholesterol, vesicles, and calcium and ion cylinder. Okay, so any issue in capacitation, guys? Anyone, any problems in capacitation? Again, you can take in detail, but this much is enough because I can also elaborate all of these things, but what is not required. Okay, what proteins are removed and all that is not required. How this will happen is a separate mechanism, but you should know what happens in these events in the capacity. Okay, so can we move forward? इसका कुछ problem है तो बताइए. Anyone?
No, sir.
Then the next event is fusion of gametes. That is gametic fusion. So in that, what will happen? That it is to ensure penetration of sperm in ovum. It is to ensure penetration of sperm in ovum. The first is what we call as acrosomal reaction. First is what we call as acrosomal reaction. So what will happen in this case? That coming in contact with the phase of ovum, there is release of acrosome will release the hydrolytic enzymes. Okay, and then this will lead to the some changes. So what will happen when, like let's say this is the ovum, okay, and when the sperm will come in contact with this surface of the ovum, so there is also this zona pellucidum outside, okay, and let's say this is the sperm, okay, so coming in contact with surface of ovum. Acrosome releases following hydrolytic enzymes. Okay, and these hydrolytic enzymes are referred as, they are termed as sperm lysines. They are termed as sperm lysines. Okay, so what are they? So first is meeting अगर end होता है तो you can join again on the same ID. The first is hyaluronidase. Okay. Second is this hyaluronidase will dissolve hyaluronic acid. Will dissolve hyaluronic acid. Will dissolve hyaluronic acid, which is a cementing substance. So see, if you know, I told you that over here, these cells of the corona radiata, they are glued by hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is a polysaccharide. Okay, it is basically a polysaccharide. Okay, it is made from the hyaluron. Okay, it is a mainly, it is sort of a, you can call it as a peptidoglycan or the glycopolysaccharide. Okay, so it's a proteoglycan as such. So this is to destroy this, so the sperms can enter through this. This will release this acrocytes so that it can reach over here. So that they can reach over here. Okay, so this is hydrolyze. Okay, so dissolved hyaluronic acid, it is between the follicular cells, so that whatever these corona radiata cells will there, okay, that can be penetrated. These corona radiata cells can be penetrated. Okay. So what will happen because of this? This will lead to second event, that is regeneration of corona radiata cells. Okay. It will also release third enzyme, that is acrosin. It will also release third enzyme, that is acrosin. So acrosin is mainly enzyme which digests zona pellucida. अभी कोरोना रेडिका को होता है, it is read to zona pellucida. So it digests zona pellucida. क्या करता है ये? It digests zona pellucida. Got it? So अभी क्या होगा? This pellucida will be digested. This red one, okay, will be this to target the zona pellucida. This was to target this corona radiata. Okay, this is for ZP. Now what will happen? The sperm can reach this cell membrane. अभी cell membrane तो बाकी है. So now what will happen? The sperm can reach the cell membrane. So this is how this sperm, as you can see over here, this has reached over here to the cell membrane of the ovum till this region. So any problems in this, guys? Just read it once. Any issues in this? Anyone? It's very important. Okay, for NEET, remember that. For NEET, frequently they ask questions for this, from this capacitation. Okay, for viability, this path of sperms. All those are questions. So any problems in these acrosomal reactions? Anyone? Yes or no?
No, sir.
So now next is what will happen? There is compatibility between sperm and ovum. Now there is the next event will be the compatibility between sperm and ovum. So see, as you can see over here, there are 2-3 sperms. So 1, 2, 3, but only one can enter. Okay. So if you talk about this, then only as such. Just a moment. So see, as you can see over here, only one of the sperms can enter or reach over here. This will not be able to enter. Okay, so this depends on the compatibility between sperm and ovum. Okay, so this occurs by some proteins, okay, which is present on the surface of, okay, this is established by proteins present on the surface of ovum and sperms. So the ovum will have which protein? It will have fertilizer. It will have fertilizing protein. But the sperm will have which protein? It will have anti-fertilizer. So this is like lock and key, guys. This is like lock and key. Okay, when both of this will be compatible, this fertilizer and anti-fertilizer both are compatible, then only the sperm can enter. Then only the sperm can basically enter into the ovum. So if 2-3 sperms can reach over here, but only one will be entering. That is this one you can see over. This won't be able to enter. This why? Because only these are compatible. We are not completely sure how this happens. Okay, we are not completely sure that how this happens. So it depends completely on the ovum to allow which sperm to enter. Okay, so this is the completely you not got scientific information how this happens. This is some these proteins and it is like lock and key. Okay, where the anti-fertilization of sperm will fit, the ovum will allow that sperm to enter. Okay, the ovum will allow that sperm to enter. Okay, so after this, one of the sperms will bind, other sperms will be rendered inactive. So after binding of one of these sperms, okay, as soon as one of the binds, other sperms are rendered inactive. Other sperms are rendered inactive. Okay. Now only head part of sperm can enter. Only head part of sperm can enter. So what will happen? M2 will complete. Meiosis 2 of secondary oocyte gets completed. So what will be formed? Second polar body ovum is formed. Okay, and then ultimately there will be fusion of the sperm nucleus. So then there will be fusion of sperm nucleus as well as ovum nucleus. And then what it will form? Zygote. It will form zygote. So this is what happens in fertilization. This is what happens in fertilization. If you have any problems, you are free to ask. So this is what we have covered in this first part of the lecture. Second part of the lecture, we'll talk about embryo development. So and if you have any concerns, please free to ask. Meeting is, there has been only less than 1 minute left. So we have to start again and you can join again. So in the second part, we'll cover further.